I'm Barb, Maple PhD, and my favorite play for April 2026 is Sanctuary. This is a game where each player is building up a zoo using tiles and this action slidey mechanism. So in the game, each player has a player board that they'll be placing tiles into. And below the board, you have these action tiles. As you play an action, you will take it out of position, move it to the end of the line, and slide everything forward. And it makes all of those other actions a little bit stronger for the next time you play them. So in the game, you are going to first take a tile from the central display. You will be limited by which tiles you can take based on the strength of your project's action, which is one of those token tiles below your board. Then you will take one of those actions and do it. Now, most of the actions have to do with playing animals out onto your board. Three of the actions correspond to three different terrain types. And if you want to play an animal from your hand onto your board, the corresponding terrain type action needs to be at least as high as the strength on the animal or higher. Now, if you don't want to play an animal or you can't, you can always use one of those actions to just grab a couple more tiles from the pile. Now, these will be random. You don't get to choose from the display, but it'll be a couple more tiles for you to consider how you might want to use them later in the game. Now, that other action is the projects action, which is a special type of tile that you'll play out into your zoo. Now, it might have a requirement like releasing an animal from Africa or something like that, or it might just give you an ongoing benefit throughout the game. Once you've taken your action and slid your tiles, there are a couple of other things you can do on your turn. You can support a conservation project. So if you have a certain number of predators or aquatic animals or animals from Africa, you have a few tiles that you can place on this board and claim some points for the end of the game. You can try and build a building from your tiles in your hand. Now, those also have requirements. So maybe they need to be next to the river or next to a group of rocky terrain, but they will give you some points at the end of the game as well. And then finally, you might be able to upgrade some of your actions based on other things you've done during the turn. And then at the end of the game, you are going to tally up your points. You'll have points from the conservation projects that you've completed. If you have any leftover tokens, like conservation tokens or pouch tokens, which are things that you'll get through various actions that you do. And of course, the big way you're going to get points are through the tiles that you have placed into your zoo. And there are a few different ways that these will score. They might be straight up points, which is easy, or they might give you points for contiguous groups of a type of animal or a type of terrain, or they might give you points for any, say, predator that's on your board anywhere. And so as you're playing out your tiles, you are looking at those requirements and thinking about how to maximize. Oh, I've got this one that says I can play predators anywhere, so I can separate them if I want, but I want all of my rocky terrain together because I've got a couple of tiles that are going to give me extra points for big groups of rocky terrain. And for me, that's where I love this game. There's this spatial element of how am I going to play out my tiles to maximize my points. Of course, there are going to be comparisons to Ark Nova. It is called an Ark Nova game. It is from the same designer as Ark Nova. You are building a zoo in both versions of the game, and you've got that little action selection mechanism where actions get stronger over time. But to me, these are very different games. This is not going to replace Ark Nova for me, but it is a game that I would like to keep on my shelf because it brings something different to my game shelf that I don't really have. I don't have a lot of those tile placement games, especially ones that are kind of this thinky, which is something I love in a game. And so for me, not Ark Nova, the Sanctuary is my pick for this month. I hope you've had a great month gaming, and I will see you next time.